let's get started. In this kind of tutorial, I will try to show how to set up Airflow with the Docker setup. It's kind of the used ones lately, so let's get to it. So this is the official page, and I will show some of the gadgets kind of thing. So let's get to it. Before everything, like make sure to read this. I passed this like thinking it was nothing important, but this is critical part. So after you have set up your Docker and everything, make sure to give it at least 4 gigabytes of RAM to use. So depending on your ASIC, you might need to configure your Docker instance to use 4 GB of memory for all the containers to run properly. So this is a critical part. So if you are a Mac user, I can show you that. So you go to Docker and you have a Docker setup. So you can go to settings and resources. So basically, if you haven't touched it and everything, it will be about 2 GB. So you need to increase it to the size you want. I just put it to 6.2 GB, 6.25 GB. You can choose however you want, but it needs to be at least 4 GB, and this is a critical part. There is no play around on that. So after that, you don't need to check this. You just need to copy this one and create a directory or something in your file system. I would recommend it to create a folder actually. So this is my VS Code editor, and I have created a folder called Airflow, then pasted the code in here. So actually there are two files, as you can see here, and I'll explain what they are later. So after you copy pasted it, you just need to follow. You can read the instructions as you want, then copy paste this code, also copy it, and what this do is like create multiple directories, as you can see here, and there is a thing called the user ID. So it will read the user ID from your PC and assign it to this variable and put it in the .inv file. After you run that, you will see a .inv and with a value of 502 or something. So you can check out the comment on the terminal to see what's actually printing. So we can do this. So if I go to my terminal, paste this and enter, then it will show me this text. So I think this value means something. I don't know what it is, just it means a nice value. And we put it on the inv and it will help us to identify the user, I guess. I will show you on the Docker Compose file. So by default, it will be set to 5000 if we haven't run that, but we need to run that. So the next step is the run this command, Docker Compose app Airflow init. So this will initialize the database and everything set up, and create also the Airflow user on the Postgres, and will basically set up everything for us. So this is a critical step too. You don't need to do this. So after that, you can run docker compose app, this command. So that will run all the containers on the docker compose file, and we'll start the Airflow server. And that should be basically it. And you can check out the Airflow server, which is this one on port 8080, and it will probably work properly, but sometimes it's just a headache. So you can check out the other commands, but if this works, then you're fine. You can read it later. So what today I wanna highly focus on is what does the Docker Compose file actually look like, and what does it mean, the Docker Compose file? Okay, so Docker Compose file is actually a file for running multiple containers in a same place, I guess, or similar linter. Creating a similar linter is better and neater than the other things. So the first thing I noticed from this is it's a version 3, so there are some features from version 3 the YAML versions. I don't know detail about it, but it's just they have different version of this, and each versions have their own functionalities. So the first thing you notice is there's an X, then Airflow comment something. So these are called like extension fields. If I'm not, yeah, extension fields. You can check out this link. Yeah, they're called extension links. So basically, the idea is there could be some environment variables or images that are needed in all of these services. So rather than going and typing it everywhere in each service, define it in a common place and use it or use it everywhere. Seems kind of neat. So when we open the file, after you define x hyphen something something, this could be any name. You can check the documentation on this. So for our case, we just say airflow common. So this common file will hold this image and everything. So wherever we call this part, we will get the image in every part. So my first guess was it will copy everything after it in every part, but as it turned out, maybe not. It could be, but I was seeing an error since I was copying this everywhere on the code, but it just shows me an error where this was not defined. Okay, this could be because of the typo error I was facing, but this thing just copies everything, I guess, on the others. Yeah, that should be the case. So, but we can define the sub commands, the subs also. So this one will just copy everything in here to your service, and the volumes, I don't think, well, there's no copy, so this just sets up one time. So I'll just this airflow command will copy it everywhere, I guess. Yeah. So this is the user. So this is airflow UID. We have previously defined it on the im file, if you remember, but if not, it just defaults to 0. Depends on this or the dependencies, like the services shouldn't start unless these other services are healthy or properly started. So this is a critical part. Depends on does that for us. So services are containers by themselves, and they will start to run as a container by themselves, and Docker Compose creates a network and they can communicate. So the first command that we run on this file was init airflow init, yeah, Docker Compose app airflow init before everything. So what this command will do is initialize most of the setups. So when we go to the airflow init file, as we can see, this is a syntax for adding the extension files to this container. So the airflow command got some things that will be initiated in here. So airflow command, what does it do? It will have an image. If we give it an image, then it will take that, but if not, the default image will be this one. So this is also another syntax, like where you define some environmental variables, but if that environmental variable didn't exist, it will just use this as a default, and this is kind of a nice syntax to remember. So it will just get the image, this one, and also we could, if the other thing, if we have a custom image, we can comment this out and just say build then from dot. For example, if you have a Docker file which sets up Airflow with other added functionalities, which I haven't done, but it could be done like this. So it creates an image, sets up the environmental variables and everything for you, creates a volume, and depends on everything. So when these things are checked, it will start the Postgres and Redis. So this basically should be it. I think this should be capital. Yeah. This makes sense. So the first setup will create the connect to the database and creates some of the configuration for us. So this is the common. So it will handle some of the things like selecting the executor, which is seller executor. It's just kind of make it multi-threaded, I guess, and much more better. So the other part after setting up everything, change the entry point to /bash. So this will open the terminal, and this user 00 means access the terminal as a root user. So if we forget to define this, we will not have a permission to create and add files and everything. So there's a thing called this. Yeah, this is critical. So after that, there is a volumes, which we will mount this our current directory through the source of the Docker init file, so we could access the DAGs and everything from there. So after that, there's some additional environments which are created at the initialization. So these are Airflow upgrade database true. I don't know what it do. Create a user creates a new user every time we're in the DAG. These variables we can define it automatically or set up on the environment. So rather than having the name Airflow as a default and password Airflow as a default, it could be something different. After that, it executes a command. So it creates directories, logs, DAGs, and plugins. After that, change the ownership to the current user on all files. Then executes Airflow version. So this is how we'll see Airflow version, this one, after the execution. I have deleted multiple the above commands in it, which you will find on this one is the original I modified a little bit, so these were a bunch of codes in there which I might not need, so I removed it. Especially the Airflow version kind of thing was giving me a hard time. Yeah, this one. Yeah, so this one was giving me a hard time and it was exiting with one, so I removed it and it's now working. So this is critical part, and this one creates a user and everything sets up and it starts. This one, the first command we run. After that, we just do docker compose up and everything will start. So these are the webflow server, scheduler, worker, and trigger and flower are essential parts. I don't know the exact use of everything, but these are required for the executor, which we said cellularly. Cellular executors require these things, so they are required. So let's check out how the web server look like. So the web server will take the Airflow command, like get the image, environmental variables, and everything. So the command, it will learn the web server, and it will learn the port 8080 on the Docker, and in our end I make it 7080. Just you could make it 8080. I just wanted to make it a different port since for some personal reasons. So this depends on takes also this extension files what was it? Yeah, extension fields. Okay, so takes on the extension fields. Also depends on Airflow initialization. So the condition is it completed successfully. So for most of them, these are similar except this command and the health check also. So yeah, so the scheduler also same thing. On Algos command is scheduler. It depends on some dependencies, and Airflow init, which is healthy, is successfully completed, and also a health check command. So all of them, I could say, have similar things. So well, what was it? Yeah, I don't know what this is, but this is different on the worker. And the command we use is not just a simple two-word command, cellularly then worker. yeah, this is related to celery, which which I didn't know how to use, but it's critical. So it has the health check and everything. So if everything works fine in here, then you will have a chance, or you will run the airflow uh, on your local machine or anywhere you want with this tab file. So the other thing left will be to run it on your terminal. So you just need to do, the first one is so this is the first command which will start the airflow. Yeah, typo. So it will, if there is no user, it will, no, this one, will this create a user? Yeah, this one creates a user and everything sets up. So this is critical part. After doing this, the second command will be docker compose up, and everything will start. To turn it down, just stop, or docker compose down will do the job. So it's going to save time. One thing I highly recommend is going through everything one by one. Would be nice to understand how this docker compose file works, which I couldn't say I understand everything, but it's a better way to understand some of the things. So yeah, this should be it for today, and have a good day. Did you finish though? It just started. I'm pretty done. So yeah, there also be some warnings, but it just doesn't mean anything. It will work fine. So airflow already exists in the DB 2.2 the version, exit code 0. This means it's good. If the exit code is different, it means something bad. Google the exit code and everything. So that should be it for today. Have a good day. Bye.